Good morning, Spruce Society, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are watching from. If you are watching live, please say hello, and if you are coming back for the replay, just type hashtag replay in the comments. I'm just putting on some valor. So today, my name is Kelowna Giuliano, and today I'm going to be talking about how to host successful in-person classes. So if you are a brand partner and you are sharing Young Living with other people, one of the best ways to do that is to gather people in person. And that's actually how I built my Young Living business. So I started in 2014 in March, and I actually started in my living room with a group of my family and friends, with my sister-in-law who is in this group, Amy Pease. And we honestly just hosted like an oils and wine. And we were so nervous. We were holding our papers and we were like shaking and we were super scared. We felt like we didn't know anything. And we just passed around the, premium starter kit oils, and most of the people there signed up. I think one person ended up signing up with someone else. I think we got like 11 signups. It was like, we were terrified and we read off of our papers, but people could tell that we were interested and they liked us and they trusted us and they liked the information. And so if you are a brand partner with Young Living or thinking about becoming a brand partner, I invite you to challenge yourself to do as many in-person events as possible. And you don't have to be an expert. I'm going to give you 5 easy tips today for how to put on a successful in-person event. And it's not something that you're going to be good at right away or that you're going to feel comfortable with. So my husband is actually a teacher, and I remember he was like, "You should teach classes." And I looked at him and was like, "I will never do that. Like, I'm not a teacher, you're the teacher." So even if you don't feel like an expert or a teacher, I promise you that you have something valuable to share with other people. Maybe you're already doing classes. And if you are, type in the comments what your last in-person event topic was, because I think we can all be inspired by that. And that is actually my number 1 tip for, we're gonna go over 5 things for hosting a successful event. So the number 1 is pick a fun topic. It could be anything that you're interested related to Young Living. It could be what you think your audience, like what your friends or your family is interested in. And like I said, type in the comments if you've done an event or a class, just to give people some ideas of what you've done, because the possibilities are seriously endless. So I mentioned my first event with Amy Pease, my sister-in-law, was we did oils and wine. That's what we called it. We were like, well, people like to drink wine. Maybe that'll bring some people that want to hang out and learn about oils with us. We didn't know. You can call it Introduction to Oils, or, you can call it whatever you want. You could call it a class, you could call it a party, you could call it a gathering, you could call it a workshop, whatever you feel like whatever sounds fun to you. So right now, currently this last year, Jessica Petty, who's in this group, and she's actually one of my upline Royal Crown Diamonds, and she actually happens to live 5 minutes from me. So we started collaborating and doing regular events, and we do them on Wednesday nights, so we call them Wellness Wednesday. So we have Wellness Wednesday, and they're all different topics, and we do it 2 times a month. And that's been really fun because it's consistent. So there's something on the calendar a couple times a month that people can come to, and it's always at the same time, and it's just been a lot of fun. So I definitely encourage you, along with, we're still on number 1, picking a fun topic, is to collaborate with a friend. Find somebody that you would want to do in-person events or classes with, because it's a lot more fun. Then when you get really nervous, you can kind of look at the other person and be like, you talk for a second, if you get nervous during the class, but I'll have more tips for that. So pick a topic. I wrote down a couple things here. Sleep, hormones, kids, babies. These are classes that I've done. Chemical-free home. I actually do a lot of stuff with crystals and essential oils. I do meditation with essential oils. chakra balancing with crystals and oils. Those are things that I love and that some of my friends like or that they're interested in. I also love emotions, so I do a lot of classes like emotions and oils. I use the feelings collection. And again, you don't have to be an expert on a topic to teach a class on it. You can literally make a little handout. You could search something in the group. You can just type up, or copy the feelings kit protocol, pass the feelings collection oils around and give everyone an experience and ask people how they feel before and after they put the oils on. Like, it's that simple. Seventh heaven protocol. I mean, you could even have, if you have access to a Zyto or an Itovi, you could have people come over and do a scan, and then they find out exactly what their body needs. Now, if you're familiar with Zyto, they actually have a scan now that can be done remote. So you can do it on your face, and you don't even have to, you can like send them a link and they can scan from a distance. But it is fun to do those in person to let people find out like what they need. And that could be your whole event, doing scans and going over people's results. So lots of ideas. Number 2, for how to host successful in-person events is to spend most of your time inviting. So inviting is kind of tricky, because if you throw like a post up on Facebook that's like, I'm having this, Wellness Wednesday Emotions and Oils workshop, people might be like, ooh, that sounds interesting. But depending on their relationship with you or the last time they saw you, they might not really feel like personally invited. So I feel like the Facebook posts or the Instagram posts are good reminders for people to be like, oh yeah, she or he's doing something with oils. I'm kind of interested in that, or to remind them to come. But people will feel most invited. I feel most invited when someone like texts me or calls me, or even like a voice message. So you can do a little voice message like, hey, I'm doing these, classes or events, or I'm going to have this fun event. I would love to see you. It's this day, this time. Like, keep it super easy. And that does take a long time though. If you go to the contacts in your phone, in fact, this will be fun. Do this and then later, and then come back and comment. Go to the contacts in your phone, scroll all the way to the bottom, and type in the number that comes up. It's going to be like a bigger number than you think. Those are all the people in your phone that you could potentially invite to this. I know not everybody's going to be local to your area, but you can always go live or record your event and send it to people who don't live locally. So that's another option. But go through your phone and just text people or voice message people. And some people use a texting service like Project Broadcast, which can be super helpful. I find that I like individually texting people, even though it takes like way longer. So just figure out what you have time for and what works best. And then of course, putting something in your Instagram or Facebook stories, talking about it, even people listening and seeing your face and hearing you say, oh my gosh, working with oils and emotions has been super impactful for me. I can't wait to share with you. If you're local, I hope you can come and bring a friend, whatever. So definitely use social media, but know that most people will show up when they get like your personal invite. So it takes a while, but I think it's really worth it. And then you'll want to send people a reminder like the day before or the day of, like, even if they haven't responded, you can be like, hey, I hope to see you tonight. If you're busy, no worries, but just let me know if you're coming. I'm going to have some, I'll usually say something which is true. Like, I have, giveaways, or I'm just trying to figure out like numbers wise, how much food I need to have or whatever, try to get people to tell you whether they're coming or not. And I do usually give something away. So I do like to have enough gifts or whatever it is. I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's spending most of your time inviting is number 2. Number 3 is to prepare for your event. So maybe you're a super planner and you're going to prepare like a week in advance. Maybe you're going to do it the night before or the day of, but definitely make sure that you've thought about like, what's your intention for the event? So different types of events might have different intentions. Like if it was an introduction to essential oils class and you were going to be sharing the premium starter kit with like the Aria diffuser or the Desert Mist and all the oils, you would be kind of focused on probably getting new enrollments. Like that would be your intention. Like you want people to sign up. If they're not currently, they don't have an account with Young Living yet, you want them to enroll. So that would be your intention. And it's important to think about this because whatever we put out is what we're going to get back, right? So we visualize having a full room. We visualize people being excited to be there. One thing that I do to prepare is I ask to be eloquently spoken and divinely guided. Like, I want to make sure that even if I have like an outline and a paper in front of me, that if someone there needs to hear something other than what's like on my paper, that information comes to me and gets delivered to them. And the other thing that I ask for is that the information is well received by the people that are showing up. Like, I want them to be like listening, paying attention, excited, inspired, like really empowered to take charge of their own health. Like, I want them to be having a fun time. Like, I want them to be excited about it. So I set those as my intentions. I always use a lot of valor to help feel confident, right? You can do that the day of, or even right before, even in front of people. Like, I was doing that right as you guys were hopping on, like right as I was going live, I was like valoring up. I call it valoring up, valor up. That gives you confidence and courage. Definitely have some type of outline for yourself so that if you get nervous, you remember what you're going to say. You can have everything written down, or you can just have a couple bullet points. You may want to have a handout so people go home with something, or not. You could also text people something the day after. Maybe, people, I don't know, however you want to do it. I like to usually give out some kind of little handout, but I don't always. You don't have to make the handout. You can go to like oilsupply.store.com. Erin Rogers has a wonderful online shop with all types of books and postcards and resources, and it's nice to hand people something. The other reason I like to hand people something is that when I start talking, they're like looking at what what I handed them and not at me. If you're nervous, like, it can be nice to have a handout. And then I like to, like I mentioned, give samples or have some type of giveaway. It does not need to be big. I mean, you could literally have a little dram of an oil that you pass out to people so they go home with something and you've showed them, how to use it. I think this was from an aroma freedom technique class, and I gave everybody transformation so that they could go home and do their affirmation, if you're familiar with that technique. And in this little bag is just like a business card. You don't have to have a business card. I just, it has my Instagram handle and my name and my number or whatever. Most people I'm inviting know me, but if somebody brought a friend, maybe I don't know them, or maybe, anyway. So a little sample can go a long way, because then people are reminded of you and they can continue using that oil until they get their own, right? Another thing that I like to do is have people kind of get their information. So you could make a little handout that has like something where they write down their info. It could honestly be a blank piece of paper. I've passed around a clipboard and just said, write your name, write your email, and one thing that you want to learn, or one area of your health that you're working on. You could also make that anonymous, and you could hand people a piece of paper and say, write, one area of your health that you're working on, or what you want to learn more about, and they fold it up and they stick it in a little jar. You pull those out and read them, and I mean, that could honestly be a whole class, right? You could use a pocket reference or a desk reference and go through that, but I like to know what people want to know. So somebody made these at some point. I don't have any more of them. They're not in print, but it does say like their name, email, phone number, and then the best way to contact them, like phone, email, text. And it says, ask me about hosting a class, and they can circle yes or no. And then it says, I want more information about, and it lists chemical-free home, emotional balance, babies and kids, immune support, women's health and hormones. And it's like a checklist. So they check what they're interested in. And these are great because then you can like stash these away. And when you're doing your follow-up, you can be like, hey, I saw that you're interested in emotions. We have our emotions class next month, whatever. So I like getting some information from people while they're there to help with your follow-up and just to remember what everybody's interested in. These are also just ideas. This is all optional. Also decide in preparing for your event if you want to have any food or drinks. You don't need to be elaborate, but I think it's fun to have something that's essential oil infused, like peppermint brownies or Ningxia. You could just have out Ningxia and give people, you don't even have to like give people shots of Ningxia, depending on how much money you want to spend or how much Ningxia you want to share, how many people are there. You can make like a Ningxia punch with like mostly sparkling water and a couple drops of vitality oil and like a little bit of Ningxia, right? And let everybody try some Ningxia. So just decide. Sometimes we do a potluck. People be like, what can I bring? I'm like, oh, bring an appetizer. People like to bring something. So that's a nice way to have some food and not have to feel like you need to do all the food yourself. So decide if you want to do food or not. You do not have to do food at an event if that stresses you out. That's for sure. Okay, so number 4 is make your event day fun. So on event day, I think it's important to start and end on time. That's something that I actually struggle with, but I know that people really respect that, So we usually have a little leeway. Like if we say our event starts at 6:30, we have people kind of mingling and eating for the first maybe almost 20 to 30 minutes. And then we start at 7. And then we will have an hour where we are talking, and then we leave some time for questions. So we say our events right now that Jessica and I have been doing all year long, 2 times a month, our Wellness Wednesdays, they're from 6:30 to 8:30. Of course, they're nice when people are there until 10. People want to talk, they want to hang out. You just have to decide if it's in your home, if you're okay with people staying that long, or if 8:30 you're like, okay, I need to go put my kids to bed, or my family's home, or whatever. But figure out your timing and how you want to start and end, because I do think that's important. You also want to save time to answer people's questions, enroll them if people aren't enrolled yet, right? Help them create an account. So figure that out. Think about your timing a little bit on event day. And then the dreaded thing, I think, for a lot of us is, what if nobody comes, right? A lot of people say, oh yeah, I'll be there. And then the day of, you're getting those texts can't come, kid's sick, blah, 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 whatever. Stuff comes up. People can't come sometimes. So sometimes you start getting all these cancellations, and it's what happens if nobody comes? So if nobody comes, you know what you do? You get out your phone, you put it up like this, and you go live in Spruce Society so we can all hear the information that you have prepared. And then you have it live, so if anybody that didn't come wants to learn the information, you're tagging them right here in the group. Or if you have another group that you use, private group. So record it. You prepared for it, you have all your notes, you're totally ready, go live and do the class. So that's what you do if nobody shows up. And that might happen, but everybody probably that's been a brand partner with Young Living has probably had an event where no one showed up or one person showed up. A lot of times, if I have low or nobody come, I can look back on ooh, I didn't do the greatest job inviting. I'm going to do something different next time. So every time you do an event, you're okay, what will I do different next time? And you can make little notes. I used to keep a little notes where I'd be oh, next time I'm going to do this differently. That did not work. I remember passing the oils around, everybody starts talking, and then no one's paying attention because they're all smelling oils. And I'm oh my gosh. So you can decide, when do I want everybody to start talking? Maybe I just pass 1 oil at the end instead of 12 oils. 12 oils is a lot of oils to pass. Or maybe you say, when the oil comes by, smell it and pass it. You're not having everyone use every single oil. You decide. You get to decide. But you'll get better at teaching your classes based on how they go. And you'll just have different people and different audiences. So you can kind of play around with it. So what else for event day? Let me see. I like to let everybody introduce themselves. Again, that's one thing that I do when I'm nervous. I give everyone a handout, and then I'm okay, let's go around and introduce ourselves. So it's not right on you. And that brings the energy of the group together, and it lets people sometimes I don't know everybody's name who's there. You can't have name tags. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but you can buy little name tags, and when people come in, they write their name, and then if people there don't know each other, then it's easy for them to see. So even if you have name tags, go around and just have people say, hi, my name is, and maybe share who invited them. Keep it super, super short, and then by the time it gets back to you, you're okay, let's get started. So that's a fun thing to do, and it lets people kind of share a little bit. Also on event day, during the event or after the event, so you have plenty of time to talk about what you want to talk about, save time for people to ask questions, and enroll if they need to, get out their phone and sign up or go to a computer. You can help them place their order. Maybe have a couple people, like if you have someone you're doing the event with, there's a few of you that can help people. But definitely go around at some point at the end and ask people how they feel after, because hopefully at the event you've given them a sample of something or they've breathed in oil. Even if your class is on chemical-free home, you can still incorporate using an oil. You could pass around lemon or thieves or something and just ask people how they feel and let people share a little bit, like what are you going to go home and do, or just give people an opportunity to talk, because it's pretty amazing. After people learn a little bit, they get really inspired and they're really excited, and it's nice to be able to let them share that excitement with the group. Just kind of raises the energy and the vibration of the people that are there, and it lets you see, oh, they heard that, they're excited, they're going to go home and do this. That not only are they going to buy something new, they're going to go try something and they're excited about it, and then number 5 is follow up. So the 5th and last thing you need to do to have a successful event is make sure that you follow up with every single person that comes. And that's when that little handout, I don't know where it just went, comes in handy. Like if you've had people write something down, they've written their name, they've written down, what they want to learn, you have something specific, like always just say thank you for coming. The very least, the next day, text and thank you so much for coming. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's my link if you need to order. You didn't order yet. We have a Spruce Society Facebook group where we do live classes and events. We have Zoom calls. We have, giveaways. Let them know all the resources that we have. We have a Facebook group. Whatever apps you use. I love the Life Steps app. I think everybody should get the free version of the Life Steps app. Seeds of Time. Everyone needs the Seeds of Time books. The pocket reference, the desk reference. Anyone who's going to use Young Living products should have the Seeds of Time books or the app or both. So you're giving people a couple resources. You don't have to overwhelm them, but definitely thank them for coming. Tell them about your next event. That's why it's good to have events on the calendar. Hope we see you next month or next week. Bring your mom, bring your sister, bring a friend. Like, let people know that you want more people to come. And the follow-up is super important because it makes people feel good, and that reminds them of, oh yeah, I did want to try that thieves cleaner if they hadn't ordered it yet or whatever. And so those are kind of my big tips. My biggest tips, of course, there's lots of things in between that you just learn by doing in-person events. I do like giving samples though, and little things like a thieves toothpaste, or even like a sticker. Like when you get your thieves cleaner, here's a sticker to put on your glass bottle. Like easy, you can literally print these. I mean, oilsupply.store.com. I think this one's actually from, if it's not from Oil Supply, this might be from Life Steps. Life Steps gives like free printables. You just need like sticker paper and a color printer, pretty easy. But giving people something to remind them of you. And then sometimes I give out like packets of Thieves, and I'm like, here, go home and try this. Pour it in a glass bottle and try Thieves Cleaner, let people have something like that. But definitely have a positive attitude, have fun with it, do it with a friend, and let me know if you have any questions. I definitely did not pay attention to any comments, so I will go back and answer any questions you have. And I hope that you give some fun, successful events, and I want to hear about them when you do. So I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye.